Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aquarian Radio at aquarianradio.com. I'm your host, Janet Lesson. My co-host is Alexandra Bernardez. Today we're going to have a special guest, Mehr, Tom Paladino. Michiko Hayashi is trying to call me right now via Skype from Japan. So we have a very full day today. Alexandra, can you hear me? Oh, wait, I think I have to turn you on. Here we go. Okay, now we go. Alexandra, hi. Sorry, I called you something else. Do you want to tell everybody about our show today? About our guest today?
Yeah, we've got an all-star lineup, and we like to come together on Fridays as TGIF show to help create paradise. So we bring together a panel of peace emissaries and inventors and visionaries outreaching and sharing their vision for creating paradise on this planet. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the show. We're international. We're connecting hearts all around the globe. And the name of the show, Aquarian Radio, we're welcoming the age of Aquarius, which has been predicted since Krishna and the Mayan elders. There is a shift taking place. It's a conscious shift, bringing us into unity and prosperity, and it's going to be quite an amazing time for all of us. So welcome to the show.
Yes, we have a very exciting lineup. I don't see Michiko. Would you like to do a meditation in her place?
Yeah,
meditation to pull in the energy from the world? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Wait,
there's one more number here. Hold on. You have all the numbers. There's somebody starting with 84.
That's me.
Oh, wait.
I'm on the fourth.
Okay, so you hung up your other phone and you called in on a different phone?
843 is my landline. Then we've got Meladina Augustine, who's also she's also a universal peace meditator and humanitarian. That she could be on the other
as well. Okay.
She's the 843 area code.
Okay. Go ahead and begin.
Sure. Well,
thank you.
Yeah, we with all that's going around on the earth right now, we want to always send out our gratitude for this earth, and it's I'm very blessed as a peace pilgrim and universal peace supporter of peace meditations. With Michiko of the Dr. Foundation, where we were sending love and light in Florida. So last week, she joined us with Ted Mehr with a group from Mount Shasta, connecting Hawaii, Mount Shasta, Florida, people in Texas, all over the world. And we simply say the words, I love you. And please forgive me for any kind of damage I may have caused. And then thank you. And you can touch your heart. And if you personally have experienced any kind of traumas, simply say, I receive, accept, and appreciate pure love. And you can also call in the highest aspect of yourself, and with the words, the Lord God, Goddess of my being, receives, accepts, and appreciates pure love. And then just breathe in. This is Friday, so let everything go from a busy week, whatever came up this week. Just breathe in, touch your heart, and let it all go. Breathe out, shake your hands, just let go anything that may have come up that wasn't loving. And you can learn to snap your fingers if a non-positive thought comes up, and just snap and delete. Delete that thought because your cells listen to your thoughts, and so by focusing on positive, loving thoughts, you can change your cellular makeup because your cells respond to love. And Dr. Emoto's foundation, they did a series of research taking photographs of water, and when the water heard positive, loving phrases, beautiful, uplifting music, or they wrote the name of a saint on the water transformed into the most beautiful crystals. And that shows that water is conscious. And Dr. Emoto, his foundation is carrying on the message by simply saying the words, "I love you. Please forgive me for any harm I may have caused, and thank you." It's a gratitude blessing that can change the cells of your own body, and water, Mother Earth, the elemental kingdom, trees, everything around you, also is connected to pure love, the source love energy. So it's a powerful prayer. It's very simple, and we've been connecting hearts all over the world. Dr. Emoto used to host events for this. They have the Hands Across the Sand event in Florida, and you can do this in your own home when you wake up in the morning. Just breathe in, touch your heart, release any kind of trauma or pain or negativity, and say, "I release it." Say, "I don't want that anymore." And then breathe in pure love and say, "I receive, accept, and appreciate pure love." And I definitely thank, Mother Earth, because I'm a citizen of this earth, and you can write, "I love you" on Mother Earth, "I love you" on the sky, "I love you" on your water. That's a challenge for all of us, to make sure that we're drinking good, clean, pure water. Well, just by having a cup of water, and you can taste it, and then take that cup and write "I love you" on a piece of paper or a Post-it, put it on the water, and come back and take a sip an hour later. And you'll notice a difference in the flavor of your water. So I also wanted, during today, we're going to have a great show at Ted Mehr from Out of This World Radio. And Ted is an amazing peace emissary. He's going to bring in what I call our backup team. Ted helps to erase the veil from what some people call the other side. And I like to say we're all on one side. We're all on the same side, which is coming back to the heart of Mother God and Father God, coming into celebration, unity, peace, and love. So we're grateful to have Ted Mehr today. He's a psychic, radio, and television talk show host with Out of This World Radio and television. And Ted is located in Olympia, Washington, beautiful part of the country. And hopefully we'll get the call from Michi. She's traveling, and she is with the Emoto Peace Project. So during our intermission, we'd like to share a free book from the Dr. Emoto Project. So, hang in there, and hopefully callers will get to also speak to Michi in person as well. So, and then our third guest, Tom and I, we've been friends for a long time. Tom Paladino is bringing in the amazing benefits of remote scalar energy. And it all is connected to your heart chakra. These shows are recorded, and we certainly hope anybody out there who would like to, increase your energy to support your health and wellness, your family, your friends, your pets, that you'll be able to either listen to this replay and share these resources with number one, yourself, and then with your friends and your family. So we just welcome everyone to the show. Each of us pitching in, we can create paradise one heart at a time. And through these meditations for Mother Earth, they're very powerful. So thank everybody for joining in.
Thank you. That was lovely. We have our first guest here, Ted Mehr. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a psychic and radio television show host, and his show is called Out of This World Radio and Television. And Ted has been in contact with such great spirits as Professor Albert Einstein, Dr. Emoto, who we talked about earlier, President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, Leonardo da Vinci, Nostradamus, Nikola Tesla, Gandhi, Dwight Eisenhower. He's written a book called Messages from the Masters, Cosmic Wisdom from Professor Albert Einstein, Dr. Masaru-Emoto, U.S. President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, Leonardo da Vinci, Michele de Nostradamus, Nikola Tesla, Mahatma Gandhi, and President Dwight D. Eisenhower. So today, I want to focus on the presidents, but let me pull him on, see if he's here. I think I see his number.
So we're erasing boundaries.
Hello,
yes,
hello, my friend.
Yes.
Are you there?
Hi, Ted. Yes, we're here. This
Hi.
is Janet and Alexandra, and we are so excited that you're here today again. Thank you so much for joining us. And,
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I wanted to tell you, Michiko cannot call. She's in Tokyo, Japan, and she cannot use her phone to call you in New York. It would be better if you could somehow call her on Skype.
Unfortunately, Blog Talk does not have the ability to call yet. They just merged with Spreaker, and their next generation we will be able to do that. But currently, that was part of the problem. It's like, this is a limit. Now, I do have other shows where they have a back-end board and the ability to call, but this is one of the limitations of Blog Talk, and that will be changing in the next several months here. So today, now there is a button on the front of the show page that comes, it doesn't appear until the show starts, and she can try using her Skype if someone can text her to try using her Skype and call into the show.
Okay. And what web address does she go to?
She goes to blogtalkradio.com/Aquarian Radio.
Okay, hold on. I'll just text it to her now. Thank you so much for telling us that. Go to
blogtalkradio.
Okay.
radio.com/Aquarian Radio.
/Aquarian Radio. Okay. AQUARIAN Aquarian Radio. Okay. Okay, hold on here. Okay, good. AQUAR. Okay. Okay. Where
did that work?
Okay. Yeah, it keeps giving me aquarium, but anyway.
Not aquarium.
Radio.
I hate that spell check. It's like really hard sometimes to get around that.
Yeah. And then when she goes to that, when she goes to that, does she hit a tab for Skype, or how does she?
Yeah, there's a tab that's in the kind of like in the middle. If I remember, it's kind of middle left top, towards the middle of the screen on the left, towards the top. It may ask her to do, depending on her Skype version, it might say update or do something else. I don't know. We'll see what she has. And I'm sorry. I wish I could call her in, but it just
that's all right.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That's okay, because she was waiting for you to call her, and I'll just tell her to do this now, and hopefully this will work.
Okay, great.
And what's the Skype address should she use?
I don't know. I think it comes up with something for Blog Talk. And I haven't used it because I access the board from a different system.
Okay.
So, but I've had people try it, and it's It says Blog Talk something. Yeah, host or Blog Talk, some kind of initial or something. I don't remember. I saw it once.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for the technical problems.
Yes,
but
I'm
I'll
sorry
send
too.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just I can fill in a little bit for her. Yeah, let me just send this to her.
Well, we'll have her on another time if she can't get on. It's okay. We have 6 shows a week. We have a lot of airtime we're filling up, and I know you do too. You have your Out of This World radio. Can you tell us a little bit about your show? What is that about?
Yeah.
Out of This World. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's a long story. My journey started 12,500. Well, probably before that, 52,000 years ago. That's how long I've been on planet Earth, or approximately 720 lifetimes. The last time we went through kind of a battle like this to get rid of the dark forces and go into the positive light was about 12,500 years ago, when the Atlanteans blew up much of the planet. And but I was in a temple back then, a priest in the Atlantean civilization back then. And my friends and I, we tried to all, as light workers, turn things around with the Atlanteans, but they were messing with technology that they shouldn't have had and ended up blowing much of the planet off. And now we're back to it's amazing how things go around. What goes around comes around, because we're now back to that again now. And many of the spirits who were back in Atlantis are back now, and they've been given a choice, either to help with the ascension or go back to their old ways and destroy the planet in a negative way. And this time, however, what's different from 12,500 years ago is that we will win the battle, we'll win the war, and the planet will ascend. And it's actually in this process of ascending now. And as we go, we're currently in the third dimension, but it's rapidly, the change is very rapid. And easily within 10, 12 years, we will be into the fourth and then fifth dimension. And what's happening now, it's getting much, much easier to talk to spirits on the other side in the fifth and higher dimensions. And for the past, about 3 years now, I've been talking to Nostradamus, Professor Albert Einstein, a whole bunch of wonderful other spirits. I come from a psychic family. For me, it's very easy to talk to spirits on the other side. I've been doing it. I've been in touch with the other side since November 1994. My foster mother, Terry, was a psychic for the Seattle area police departments, and she would find missing and lost children. And back in the 94, she started teaching me how to talk to the other side. And then when my dad passed away in March of 99, he came through my foster mother, and he gave me a series of spiritual instructions on how I could talk to him and the great spirits. So for me, it's very normal to talk to spirits on the other side. They're part of my reality. I spend most of my time every day in the fifth and higher dimensions. I prefer the higher dimensions, but my contract is to be here in the third dimension, so here I am. I'm in the third dimension. But I prefer the fifth dimension between the dimensions and the higher dimensions. The fifth dimension is very interesting because there's no time, for one thing. Time exists in the fourth dimension. In the fifth dimension, there's no past, present, or future. Everything's happening at once, and it's hard for people to kind of wrap their minds around that. But once you go into the fifth dimension with a good psychic, you can see far into the future or far into the past or in the present, and you can remote view anything on this planet or other planets or other dimensions or other universes. Normally, let me back up a little bit.
Right.
Back when I started the spiritual journey, I was given a life review, and the spirits showed me how I affected people, places, the earth, just by my thoughts and actions, words, and deeds. And they did that every day for me. They've done that every day for me since 1994. And as a result of that, I've progressed over 300 lifetimes since that time. And those are spiritual lifetimes. If each spiritual lifetime is 80 years, then I've progressed somewhere over 24,000 Earth years. that's led me.
Okay, I want
to
to ask you a couple questions. Can we kind of bookmark here? Because you've just said a lot. I mean, it's a lot of powerful information you've just downloaded to us. And I have a million questions because I too am very psychic, but I've never really come out publicly about it. I dealt with it, right? My entire life. Came in very psychic. Came in remembering a lot of my past lives. But I was going to say, you were talking about the sinking of Atlantis. Have you ever read Emerald Tablets of Thoth? And he talks about the archons were basically, I guess, the archons or these interdimensional beings were coming in to the council and seizing the council members, and they looked the same, but they were possessed, and so this interdimensional portal that was open through Atlantis had to be closed because they were taking over the planet, and that's why so it's a very interesting book. I highly recommend it, called The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And Thoth, he loves humanity. He's written over 1 million books or something. He's the Atlantean, but he also was in Egypt and other cultures. So that's one question I had for you. It was a sad thing that happened, and of course there's also the correlation with with flood, the different planetary bodies coming into this inner solar system and causing this cataclysm, and that's part of why Atlantis sunk. So I wanted to talk about Atlantis sinking for just a minute there. What do you think of what I just said?
I've got quite a bit to tell you. Mitchie's she sent me a text. She said I clicked it several times, but it doesn't work. I'm really sorry. Maybe next time. I'm so sorry.
We'll
but I'll
figure it out.
send her a note. Anyway, let me just send this little note to her saying apologizing for the misconnections. Michiko Hayashi, for people listening today, is the global director of the Emoto Peace Project out of Japan. She was Dr. Emoto's assistant until 2014, when he died of mysterious circumstances after visiting China. I'll leave it up to your imagination as to what happened to him. But at any rate, she is now carrying on his work, wonderful work with the Emoto Peace Project, and she travels the world, giving lectures, teaching children the value of love and gratitude. It's a long story, but she's a wonderful lady, and her website is www.emotopeaceproject.me or www.emotopeaceproject.net. But I wanted to give that plug. I work with her for the Emoto Project, and it's a beautiful project for children around the world. It's a children's charity.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Yeah, I have a page on AquarianRadio.com, and her picture's there, and a lot of her contact information, so feel free, listeners, to go check that out and contact Michiko, and we will have her on a future show, which has Skype capabilities, because I work for several different networks, so we'll have her on, guaranteed.
Oh,
She's
wonderful.
a wonderful person. Yes.
Okay, thanks. I have CDs of some of Thoth's work, actually, and I listen to them while I'm driving around in my car. So even though I haven't read his works, I've listened to narration of his works. And It's very interesting listening to the CDs because you can tell he's definitely from a more advanced, different civilization. The sentence structures are different. Nouns often go in front of the verbs. In English, of course, it's verb first, noun second. In German and other languages, you put the verb first and noun second. And Thoth, when he talks, does that. He puts the verb first and the noun second. And it takes a while to get used to the sentence syntax because it's different than English. Anyway. Your question was, I'm a little familiar with his work, and I find him fascinating. Really, you can tell he's from another time and another civilization. But I had lived back in that time, and sort of George Bush Senior, for that matter. but unfortunately he made bad choices back in Atlantean times, and he's making bad choices now too. He won't be allowed back on this planet. Neither will his negative friends either. They'll all go to another Earth-like planet in the lower third density, on the other side of the solar system. It's going to be a new. It's going to be a third-dimensional Earth-like planet, where they will work out their karma for the next 25,800 years. And as Professor Einstein has said, matter once created is never destroyed. So what will happen is that they'll go there, and personally, I think 25,800 years is a long time. Maybe not to some people. Maybe George Bush doesn't think it's very long, and so he doesn't mind going there.
Hopefully they'll get it.
Yeah. Well,
but I often thought we have to protect the people who are, progressing from these evil empire. It's kind of like Star Wars,
right.
And these beings that are now, I don't know if there's a theory that their souls are possessed by, archons or whatever, dark beings, or they just kind of came that way. I'm not sure how to sort that out, and I hate to lump everybody into. Okay, yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah.
What happened that they got to be so dark and evil? What happened to these people that they took to the, like Darth Vader? Why did Darth Vader become Darth Vader? Why did all these people become dark?
Well, let me back up. Evil was an experiment on this planet Earth, and I say was because the experiment is ending now. And the theory behind evil as an experiment was that if you punish people for making wrong choices, then somehow that'll force them to make good choices for spiritual advancement, and then everybody will progress after that. Of course, that hasn't worked very well in many cases, not all, but many cases it hasn't worked very well. And let's bring this up to 1954. It's March 1954, and I'll give you a little bit of a background. Or actually, let's do late 53.
Okay.
I think President Eisenhower has just been elected, and he's now visited by representatives from the Galactic Alliance from the Pleiades constellation. And Mr. Eisenhower liked these entities. They were very positive. He liked them. But the only problem he had with them, they offered help to spiritually and technologically advance this planet. But the problem was that in President Eisenhower's mind was that they wanted him to get rid of his nuclear weapons. And he said, well, how are we going to defend ourselves against the Soviets? We need that. Of course, that's a Cold War. So he turned down their offer of assistance. And about 6 months later, some reptilians and greys showed up. And that was in March of 1954. And he met them at the end of a runway in Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. Mm-hmm. And he stayed there on the pretext of going to a dental appointment. Anyway, he went into the spacecraft about 45 minutes. And the reptilians and the greys were very crafty. They put in mind controls on him. I've talked to him about it. They put him on mind controls.
Oh,
and
okay.
He didn't want to sign any agreement with them. The reptilian gray ambassador said, look, if you don't sign this agreement with us, we'll go to the Soviets and we'll make them the preeminent power on Earth with our technology, and the U.S. will lose out. So he agreed to let them abduct humans on what the Greys and the reptilians said was a limited basis. They lied, of course, but to them lying's no big deal. But anyway, so they allowed them to come in. He allowed the reptilians and Greys to come in to abduct humans in exchange for some of the antiquated technology from the reptilians in order to fight the Soviet Union. Little did President Eisenhower know at the time that Khrushchev was getting the same deal from the reptilians. So they played us on both ends of the deal. Now, I've talked to Simon Parks about this too, and Simon says actually the agreement was reached in 1950, and the 54 meeting was actually a renewal of that. Frankly, I wasn't there. I don't know what the truth is. But
right.
sometime, but I think both Simon and I agree. But sometime in the early 50s, there was this agreement reached, and from the early 50s all the way through 1986, the reptilians installed what they would do. They altered our they altered our free will, and they also altered our general nature by implanting many humans with what's called negative implants. From about 54, from my information, or according to Simon Parkes, 1950, they would put these rice-sized implants, negative implants in people, causing them to be negative. Typically, they put them in your top crown chakra, throat chakra, around your eyes, and anywhere where you had pain. The reptilians raise themselves, feed off negativity and pain. They love it when humans fight and argue. I haven't talked to them. I haven't asked them about whether they like Fox News and all the fighting, but they probably do. They probably do. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe they watch Fox. I don't know. There are some good stories on Fox every once in a while, but they do have a lot of, they like to keep their ratings high. I don't know if you've ever talked to U.S. media, but in U.S. media's mindset, the more violence there is, and they don't like to focus in on good news, they focus in on bad news. But the reptilians are a negative resource-driven species, and they implanted people. Now, in 1986, they made a technological breakthrough because they actually used stolen tech. They themselves are not very creative, but they steal technology from other civilizations, and they were able to put in negative implants in the fourth dimension astral plane in people, planet-wide. And that was done with the help of Bill Gates, starting in 1996 through a satellite system and his computer system. Oh, wait.
So how did Bill Gates say that again? Bill Gates assisted them? Was that willingly, or was he do?
Well, he was offered a choice in 1996. Of course, you're not going to hear about it in the U.S. media, but out here in Seattle, we did hear about it because it was a big deal. We had all these corporate executives and world leaders who showed up at the home of Bill Gates here in Mercer Island, Washington in 1996. And from the rumors we heard here out in Seattle, Bill Gates was offered a choice. They said, look, your corporation is monopolistic. You violated all these trust laws. You have a choice. Either you play ball with this and do what we tell you to do, or we'll break up your company and you'll end up being destitute down Skid Row somewhere. So he chose the materialistic side and agreed to play ball with them. And part of that was installing the entire planet and everyone here with these negative implants. I take them out of people, and there's two levels of implants. There's superficial ones that I take out, and there's also deeper soul implants that can only be taken out by the Galactic Alliance because it takes some specialized care on that. But what I wanted, kind of a long way to tell you why is it evil? Why are these people evil? It's because many of them have been implanted because the true nature of people is to be kind, benevolent, and loving. The thing about George Bush Sr. is that he's negative anyway. I don't think he needed to be implanted, much like Richard Nixon didn't need to be implanted because he was already a negative mess even before they started, so they didn't need to do too much to him to get him on their side.
Well, it seems like I think we could do because everybody really does originally come from pure source love. So they have been imprinted or implanted or tortured in various ways. So on this show it's kind of neat that we can send out a pulse and bring in the galactics to help, to send this pulse out because we're all connected. So as many, we send out a pulse of pure love, and that's where, bringing in our galactic friends, because we know we have an incredible backup team right now. These guys, they're scrambling because we don't give them, we were all on the show together to help diffuse, Irma.
Alexandra, we'll go to the positive at the end of the show. We're going to examine the problem right now, this first part, because we have to get all the facts of what's happening, and then we transmute it and change it. But it's kind of like the alcoholic has to say, I'm an alcoholic. You have to get what's going on, and I'm still, I interviewed thousands of people, some super soldiers that have been taken when they were 4 years old and used as slaves based on this accord that was Eisenhower. You know, there's
right.
I talked to
Well, let's
Tony
talk
Rodriguez,
about...
and he was. Wait, let me finish my time. Let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
He was taken. And uses. You know, you talk about child trafficking. It goes off planet too, right? Uses a sex slave, used as a worker for 20 years back. There are a lot of people that have been used 20 years back, but a lot of people in the spiritual world have said, well, it doesn't seem like that's really that person's true nature, that maybe they were possessed or taken over. And Ted's talking about this implanting that happened in, what was it, 96 under Gates. And so, yeah. So let me get back to you, Ted. How did that happen? Was it just put into the morphogenic field somehow, in the air? Was it chemtrails? Was it vaccination?
It was, well, there was the etheric implants were put into the lower parts of the fourth dimension, astral plane. And that's a plane where a lot of negative entities hang out. For example, when you smoke marijuana, it leads you right into that negative area, and that's why a lot of people who do smoke pot do get a lot of negative attachments from that use. Now, there's two. I want to give you a gift today, and all your listeners.
Okay.
There's two ways you can break the implants, and it's very simple. The first is to do the hue every night and ask the galactics to come in and help you, and they will do that. And it's very simple. It's like it's in plain sight. It's the HU in human. And you just say it 3 or 4 times a night, 5 times a night. If there are people around who might think you're weird, just do it to yourself and have the same force and effect. And it goes like this. Hue. Say it if you like. Hue. And I guarantee it'll see how nice and calming that is. The second thing you can do is very simple, and I learned this from Randy Kramer a couple of years ago, who was in the secret space program, and how this is how he got rid of his negative implants too. You break the connection between the implants and the reptilians, or the implants and the negative parts of the United States government, and you simply do this. You repeat after me. This is going to break the connection, and you'll feel so much better. And I'll tell you what happens after this. Just say to yourself, I now own and control.
I now own and control
all of the negative implants within me.
All of the negative implants within me.
And nothing.
And nothing.
And nothing.
And no one.
And no one.
And no one.
Can negatively influence or control me.
Can negatively influence or
control me.
And I know it to be true.
And I know it to be true. And
I remote view you. I see both of your faces now. I'm remote viewing you both. And your faces have gotten much lighter. There's also light coming over both of your top foreheads through your pineal gland and the top of your crown chakra along your cheeks as well. So you should feel a lot lighter now. There's more to this. I mean, usually when I take out implants, I'll also I'll take them out of the fourth astral plane, and they're garbage, and they're reptilian constructs to make us negative and negative with each other and negative with ourselves, and because they're garbage, what do you do with garbage? You throw it out. So I pull them out and I throw them away. So, but that's the first step. You break that connection, and you'll know the difference. If I may, let me just tell you something real quick. If you've ever been in a good mood one day and just walking through a forest or happy, and yet you have a lot of negative thoughts going through your head, those are the implants right there, and they're trying to make you negative because the reptilians and the grays feed off that negativity. And so now, all of you who did that exercise tonight, the next time you're alone or quiet and you're having a good day, it's going to be completely quiet because those superficial implants are going to be gone. But what you have to do every night is to do the hue for help from the galactics to take out. There's also a set of, usually people have what's called soul attachments, the negative implants around your soul. Those can be taken out by the galactics, but I can't do it. I could take out superficial ones, neutralize them. So, yeah.
I've worked with a lot of people. I do counseling and basically psychotherapy and exorcisms, this type of things, and use a little bit different modalities. I became aware through my own therapy, my own inner work, is that I've been protected by this other faction. And in a way, it was kind of odd because I was always such goody two-shoes, right? and so it was strange walking through the world and it's like, what's going on with everybody, right? And I suspect that Alexandra's the same type of soul. She's just naturally that negative element doesn't affect her that way. So I just wanted to put that out there. Now, let me go back to what you were saying, because you were saying a lot of things. I took some notes. So I'm going back to poor Ike. So Ike is doing the best he can. He's leading the world. The World War II is over. It's 1950 or 1954 or whatever. I was born in February of 54, which was, from one account, supposed to be the month that they came down and they had this meeting. So the positive ones, it seems like that's a weird reaction, that the positive ones would just say, well, you got to give up your nukes or we're out of here. That just always struck me as odd. That's one thing I wanted to look at. But the Greys and the reptilians were the next ones that came down. Now, they apparently had been down here even before because they were, what was his name? William Tompkins, who just passed, 94 years old. God bless him. He was a wonderful person. Oh, yeah. He died about 3 weeks after his last appearance at the Vegas MUFON conference. And I was there, and I got to meet him. I got to have a long conversation with him. And he is and was the real deal. But what he did was they had agents going over into behind the German lines, American Germans that could speak German fluently, coming back with information of the reptilians and the advanced technologies back in the 40s. So it goes even further back. And,
actually,
from his perspective, yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, this is not well known, but some say that President Eisenhower actually met with the reptilians first in 1934, followed by a meeting with Hitler with the reptilians in 1936. And the Philadelphia experiment was actually reptilian technology that Professor Einstein, he's confirming that. He did know about it and helped with that as well. So to produce ships, to make ships invisible so that they wouldn't get destroyed by the German U-boats. So it does go back. Yeah, it does go back.
Yeah, it goes back. So apparently these extraterrestrials were using all the forces of the Earth and all the humans and cutting deals with them and giving them technology. And somehow, through all this stuff, the power, after World War II and with Project Paperclip, the Nazis did not lose World War II. There was like a public thing that they were signing, but they came over to the Americas with 10,000 of all their people and their families, plus families. So, we're still the Nazis right now. And,
there's something very, pardon me. Yeah,
go ahead,
Jenna, I just want to tell you something important, Alexandria, that Alex Collier, I really like him. There's a long story what happened to him. He's a great man for his being courageous.
Like him too, yeah.
Yeah, he told me that, or actually written that, and he told me too, I met him a couple of years ago at a conference at Mount Shasta in 2015. He said that the reptilians came into our timeline in the Greys in 1931 when they met Nazi scientists. And once they were in our third dimensional timeline, then they went back to just after the fall of Atlantis, because the Atlantean civilization could have fought and got rid of the reptilians, but they went back to just after their civilization had collapsed. And that's why they appear throughout our history, and they've really altered our history. With Alex, he's a great man. He was threatened by Leon Panetta, who was trying to remember. He was what's his name? Clinton's chief aide or something. And they gave him a choice. They said either you play ball with this and you shut up and stop talking about UFOs, or we'll kill you and your kids. They threatened his children, so they stopped talking. and he ended up being destitute, living out of a car, and he finally came out of his hiding in 2015 with the conference, and I think he's still speaking today. He is being given galactic help and protection.
Good.
So the negative parts of the U.S. government can't touch him now like they could before. We're all getting protection now. So I'm not afraid of being, I get protection too, so I'm not worried about it now. But that didn't help a lot of light workers, including Dr. Emoto, who died in 2014. So anyway.
So was Dr. Emoto's death, was he killed?
I don't want to directly answer that, but what I can say is that he goes to China, he gives a speech there, a so-called healer comes in and gives him some tea. He gets violently ill 6 hours later, then dies 6 weeks later.
Oh.
And they think he was poisoned. Draw your own conclusions. I don't want to say any more.
Right. Okay. Well,
but there is, but the Falun Gong.
Even Tompkins, his death. It's like he fell and hit his head twice. He fell. I hung out with him. I had to run with his wife in a wheelchair across the casino because he was in the wrong part of the building, a huge building, and they had to get over to the panel. So I'm really booking it with his wife, and I looked back to the left, and there's still Tompkins, 90 years old, and he's running and keeping up with me. Now, he's very agile. And so for them to say he just fell and hit his head and then he bled to death, all that is just same with what was his name? John Mack. He got hit by a drunk driver. So these are always, to me, suspicious. And in fact, if you take it to the next level, there's cures for all these diseases, and we're all being murdered at the rate of 100,000 people a year that would live if we were given all the technologies, and we had safe transportation, not these damn cars and systems that crash and fall and burn all the time. So go your turn.
Well, I talked to Bill Tompkins in January because I was working on my book then, and he wanted to write a foreword to the book. And I actually had him scheduled for my radio show, I think in late January of this year. And everything was fine. And then about 10 minutes before he was going to go on air at 2 o'clock Seattle time, my producer talked to him, and he said he couldn't come on because of a rainstorm outside his window. So I meditated, and the answer that I got what happened, he was told by his superiors in the military-industrial complex, because he was still classified, not to come on my show. That's what I had heard. And they do take that oath. Most people are being protected, but some, like Corey Good, I know he's been threatened with harm. But Bill Tompkins, he's a brave man, a very brave man to come out and write his book. But they're still messing with people.
They are.
It's just very frustrating.
It's sad, very sad. Very frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Well, guys, maybe this is a resource for the light worker community. We could. I'm grateful, Ted, that you shared the hue, and also, maybe we can have a resource page because we're also in touch with Revolution Radio. So we can make Revolution these
Radio and.
Yeah, we know that they're using this outdated technology, and it just doesn't work anymore. That's our message to them: is the power of the light is infinitely stronger. It's like you switch a light on in a dark room, and that's what we're doing collectively. So, but I'd love if you could share the technique that you had us repeat, and we can post that on our research.
We can do that.
Oh, my pleasure. I want to tell everyone that good things are happening and we're all being protected. You do the hue, I guarantee you that the Galactics. I'll give you an example. The Galactics Alliance is between 50 and 100,000 years ahead of us technologically, and 30 to 50,000 years ahead of us spiritually. The reptilians and the negative elements within the United States government are maybe they have technology maybe 3, 4, at max 5,000 years ahead of us currently on Earth. Now, if you're up against a civilization, if you have access to a civilization that's 100,000 years ahead of us technologically and 50,000 years ahead of us spiritually versus a reptilian inferior negative civilization that's maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years ahead of us, push comes to shove, who do you think is going to win? The galactics will, because the white light always wins over the dark. So,
but there's some reason, Ted, that they're letting this play out. There's some reason for the polarity. There's some reason for the dark light continuum. There is some kind of non-interference clause. I've dealt with extraterrestrials personally, and it's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
address that.
It's the last days of, to use an analogy. It's now March or April in 1945, and as use an analogy for them, it's like they're sitting in Berlin, but they're not going to get out, and they have maybe 1 or 2 months till the end before it ends totally for them. That's how I look at it. Their days are numbered. Mm-hmm. They know it. They know that they cannot escape, and once they die or leave this planet, guess what? They're not coming back. Gaia doesn't want them back. They're going to another planet where they can, Earth-like planet on the other side of the solar system, where they can work out their negative karma for the next 25,800 years. That's their choice. And the Supreme Being who created all of this is respecting that. So they're not going to be destroyed. They're going to go there. And personally, I think that's a long time. But hey, maybe George Bush wants to have a bunch of wars and fight and everything. And maybe Fox News loves that kind of fighting atmosphere, so they can go there and have their own television station on a new negative Earth. So that's fine. That's totally fine. It's their choice.
Is that going to be all the presidents? Are they going to take them all? Which presidents are good? Which presidents are bad? Which world leaders are good? Which world leaders are bad? It's really hard to sort it all out. And I think it's complicated. And even with reptilians, it's complicated, to say all reptilians and any species, all grays. I think that for my research and my understanding and my personal contact is that each individual is a complex being. And I've read the Dr. Michael Newton Institute research information, and they regressed 40,000 people from, with many therapists from all over the planet. And, they do this cleansing thing of the souls, and they try to extract the good parts and get rid of the bad parts, and they do isolate them, kind of send them to a botany bay, and so they can't hurt and harm other beings. But ultimately, there's good in everybody and everything, because all are from God, all are from Source. And I just wonder if there's a more kind, loving, peaceful, humane way of viewing this final chapter. It's almost like a play, right? And when you're organizing play, you go, okay, Tommy, you're going to play the villain, and Susie, you're going to play the villain, and over here, Joe and Mary, you're going to play the heroines, and everybody's in between, the supporting characters. So in a way, at the end of the play, who gets the biggest applause is the villain. But in a way, the villain, had to juice your role, and they had to really stretch themselves to maximize the paradigm, the continuum in order to diversify creation. Because all this stuff, necessities of other invention, these wars and everything that we've had, we have created a huge society. I mean, I can look in my living room, and there are products from all over the world. Very creative, artistic things on a notebook, and the curtains and all the fabric and pattern. I mean, it's a very advanced civilization in some ways, and it's primitive at the same time. So I'm looking at this thing that I think we all co-created this. You can sit there and that's good, bad, evil, whatever. You can sort it that way, but we all created this. And the ultimate goal is, what do you think is the goal of this creation? For me, it's that we're co-creators with God's Source, the universal consciousness, and we diversified and had all this stuff. But what do you two think? Why did you do this?
I think it would have been really good if Michiko Hayashi could have been on from the Moto Peace Project, because she has a very beautiful message of love and gratitude and peace for the planet. And it's kind of like if you look at a glass of water, you can look at it as being half empty or half full or half empty. But I just want to let you know, all of you listening out there today, that we have a very beautiful and bright future ahead of us. And no matter what the dark side does, their days are numbered, and the planet's changing. What's called the Schumann frequency was at 7.8 hertz for many tens of thousands of years up until last September 2016, and then it doubled to 13.8 hertz. Christmas time went 36 hertz. January this year went to 40 hertz. In May was at 120 hertz. Now it's at 150 to 160 hertz. I did a time travel hypnotic episode with another psychic friend of mine, traveled 2 years in the future. And at that point, it's supposed to go to 800 hertz. And so the negative forces will not be able to survive.
Right.
I saw the Chinese government collapsing completely within 2 or 3 years and being replaced by a truly democratic and loving, kind, benevolent government. And that's where the planet's headed. So, sure, there's negative stuff happening on this planet, but I think it's important to keep ourselves thinking that there are good things coming, because the planet is changing, and there are good things coming. Believe me, there are.
Yeah. It's just obvious. Even with all this stuff that happens, there's always the opportunity for the individuals to show up and be the heroes and show up, be kind and loving. Look at the Houston hurricanes. You know, the weekend before there was a big race thing going on, and then the following weekend people of all colors were rescuing each other. Even immigrants were risking deportation to go save people from the water. So we all have our individual chances to show up and be kind and loving no matter what's going on around us. And that is part of it. Yeah. We're running out of time with you. I want to say so much with you, Ted. We're having you back on Tuesday on the premiere episode of the Ascension Center. But I want to talk to all of your wonderful people that you channel. Could we have like 5 minutes with John Kennedy? I was born in '54, so I was 9 years old the day he was shot, and it deeply affected me and everybody I knew. So is he available to say just a couple minutes, and we'll have him back again?
Yes, of course. Yes, I'd be happy to. Let me meditate for a minute, okay? Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know, as Ted is meditating, we really are shifting into unity consciousness, into the I am of the connection of all of us. And it is the age of Aquarius as we're stepping into prosperity, we're stepping into peace, and also recognizing Mother Earth really is a paradise planet and has been for a long time. So, all we have to do is fix up the surface. It's not much percentage. If you look at 90% of the inner Earth, the hollow Earth is already thriving in paradise. So I just want to encourage everybody. We're just doing this final lap, and we're going to make it, and we're all going to celebrate.
Right.
Everybody.
Thank
you. Yeah.
Well, the planet's changing, and there's a lot of good things coming for all of us here. So I just want you to all remember that. And maybe we can get Michiko on the show too on Tuesday, maybe to set something up.
Yes.
But if possible, maybe if possible.
Yes.
Well, let me bring in Jack Kennedy now. He's here.
Okay.
One of the main messages that he sees from the other side is that the planet's changing and it's evolving into the higher dimensions. And he said that a lot of the changes that he tried to institute during his administration from the top down are now being carried out by the people from the bottom up. It is the destiny of planet Earth to ascend into the higher dimensions. So that's what he's seeing now, and you're all on a wonderful, wonderful spiritual journey. He is still considered the president on the other side, and he never stopped being the president. He cares about and loves us all so deeply, and he's there for anyone to talk to him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in all these years, he hasn't decided to come back, or is he sending a thread of his consciousness back and he's walking the earth in human form as well as being on the other side.
Right. Yeah, he's on the other side along with Benjamin Franklin. President Washington's there. Abraham Lincoln's there. You asked, I'm just picking out different presidents. President Eisenhower's there. I like President Eisenhower. In addition to Jack Kennedy, they were great men, and both of them wanted the best for the country. Both of them, President Eisenhower and President Kennedy, they had several meetings. 2 meetings at the end of President Eisenhower's presidency, at the beginning of just before the start of President Kennedy's presidency, and President Eisenhower told Jack Kennedy about the agreements and about the bases, and I'll tell you a story. President Eisenhower in 1959 tried to gain access to the Area 51 with a representative from his office, and he was refused entry. And he only after threatening the U.S. 6th Army to come from Denver to go forcibly into Area 51 was his representative allowed into the base. That was the last time anyone from the White House office went into Area 51. From what my friends tell me, there's like a whole bunch of levels at Area 51. The first third is entirely staffed by humans. The middle part is staffed by humans and reptilians, and the bottom third is staffed by reptilians. So that's why it's so secret. It's not a place I would want to go to, but it's actually run by different species. So
yeah.
Well, can our
concept?
Can our galactic team? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to comment on that. That's an odd concept to get your head around. But I've actually been in an underwater military installation, and many species run around together, and they do have the levels. Some of those facilities have 100,000 people or more living there. It's a full-on civilization, full-on city, and many different levels, and you can only go certain places, and so that's true. All right, so
can I ask
to wrap this up? Go ahead.
Let me ask a quick question, Janet.
Sure.
Did we?
Go ahead.
I understood that in 2012 we got all those Army bases cleaned up. Is that correct, or are we still challenged with that one?
No.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, because that's why they called 2012 the shift, because there was Code X to bring in galactic forces to help us regain those military agendas.
Most of the bad boys, the reptilians, are gone. Most of them are gone.
Yeah.
Most of them are gone. So that's good news. So
it is.
People talk about the reptilians and the Greys, but most of them are gone, and what you've got left are just humans who've either been implanted or trained by them, so they kind of work on automatic pilot. Even the chemtrails now are even stopping. I know that when I was in Shasta recently, it was clear blue skies. I think I saw one chemtrail, just one. But it used to be that Shasta was doused heavily by chemtrails, but the programs are being stopped by the Galactic Alliance. So there's a lot of good things going on here. You just kind of have to read between the headlines and look for yourself. Of course, you're not going to hear about chemtrails in the U.S. media, but I know in Seattle here, we get a lot of chemtrails, but today I don't see any at all, none. But there are programs. They're being stopped, and that's good news.
They are being stopped.
To be happy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. The negative forces, no matter what avatar they inhabit, are being stopped. But there are indigenous reptilians that work alongside humans, and there's all these different. It's really bad thing to just lump everybody and say they're all going to be gone and they have to go. No, there's some wonderful reptilians. They're conscious. They're loving and kind.
Really? Where?
I have a lot of people that have come on and they've worked with them. I have worked with one who's been with me and been a friend along with Mantis and everything else. I've interacted with every species imaginable, but this guy, at first I thought negative things about him, but continued the dialogue, and there was a misunderstanding because I couldn't handle his vibratory frequency with his telepathic communication. It was different than the telepathy I was used to, and so I became afraid. But we kept trying to contact, and now I've been able to. I can adjust my vibratory frequency and talk to different species. I learned it. I had to learn how to communicate. And then, I got into what was going on. And there's 3 or 4 different, like Nancy Tremaine, a lot of different species. I mean, a lot of different spiriters are having wonderful experiences with extraterrestrials. So I just want to, I don't want to say, just like I don't want to take and throw people of all on race into some category. It's a racist thing to take a whole species and categorize them as evil. There are some good people of all kinds, all species.
Well,
that's all I want to say.
I have to tell you, the Greys themselves were taken over by the reptilians many thousands of years ago, and they were genetically altered to become a slave species, and they were deprived of their free will. So, and I can't blame them for that because the reptilians did that to them. But what I do know is that the Greys who are here, most of them are working in a subservient slave species for the reptilians, and what they're up to is no good. And that argument, too, goes for the reptilians. Now, most of the bad boys are gone. Few left, but most of them are gone. So I don't know. I think at one time the reptilians were benevolent, but they were also taken over and given made to be negative. So and I don't have all the answers, certainly. No one does. But I don't just from the history, if I see a reptilian, I'm going to run away as fast as I possibly can. I don't care who they are or Greys until they prove otherwise. So anyway.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's okay. But I'm just looking at it from a different perspective when I have people that are coming forth, and my one girlfriend has a hybrid son, and he's half reptilian, and he's a very beautiful soul. And anyway, so I've had to look at it from different ways because it's so easy to judge and demonize, and I come from the highest realm.
Yeah, I can't import those kinds of concepts when talking about a species that generally has looked at humans as a food source, because they look at humans like we look at cows and chicken. So, that's where I'm coming from. I don't.
Right. There are beings, there are species, and they're not all reptilian. There's humans, humanoids, all kinds of people that deal in the slave trade. And, the humans are a resource. They use them for the hybrid program where they clone them with artificial intelligence, so they're kind of robotic. They use them for labor. They use them in ritual sacrifice. They use them in satanic rituals, and they're required to do all kinds of heinous things. And I've heard all the stories, and I'm still investigating it. I'm tracking it down. And I'm doing it objectively. No judges. I just go, okay, here, tell me your story. If you don't get the story, you're not going to get the whole picture. You're just going to get, when you have selective hearing, you only hear what you want to hear. You don't get what's really going on. And so I'm an investigative reporter, and I'm looking at this whole phenomenon, and I realize it's a continuum. And upon a continuum, we are the choosers of where we want to be. Do we want to be light? Do we want to be dark? And anybody can change at any time. Anybody can make that choice and say, I'm not doing that dark stuff anymore. I'm not doing evil things anymore. I've learned. And I see that individually and collectively. So that's part of this shift, because even though the energy doesn't support negative beings, a lot of the negative beings are deciding to be positive. Just like at the end of the Star Wars, Darth Vader went into the light, he became a good person.
Speaking of, I'd love to, we all love Dr. Emoto, and so I want to just share, because we're given a free ebook giveaway before we invite our next guest on. Tom is scheduled at 9:10, and our free ebook is for the Emoto Peace Project, and there are a lot of kids out there, who can benefit from this book. Kids have gone through bullying, or anybody who was ever picked on, This book, there's a whole, they're supporting the no bullies in the schools. So it's
right.
Emoto, and plus, like I said, it works on water. Just to write the word "I love you," "thank you" on your water, on your own cells, because all sorts of people, people have heard so many negative messages. We want them to come to the Create Paradise show to get a lift up, a hand to help lift them up. So you go to Emoto, which is spelled EMOTO, Peace Project. Emoto, EMOTO, Peace Project .net. And that is, take a look at the free ebooks. They're in all sorts of languages, and really they're for kids and adults. So I just wanted to share that on our fun intermission. That, we can all flip the switch to a more positive outlook, because our thoughts create our reality. So I like that Janet, we got to take the snapshot, and all that this earth has been through, we just began the show to say thank you, I love you to the earth for providing us with this home that really is a paradise. And so, we're all doing our part on the show to help restore it to that pristine condition and extend our compassion, to all who have been traumatized in various ways. I actually picked up sorrow coming from Mars, from the planet Mars. So, I know they've been doing all sorts of experiments. So we just want to say, let's turn the corner and flip the switch to compassion and start honoring, all life on this planet as magnificent, uniquely magnificent and all healing together, So we're really grateful, Ted, to have you on, and we'll make sure to work out the technical stuff so we can do an awesome show on Tuesday.
Oh, that'd be great. And I know Michiko's listening now, and I know she wanted to be on today. She has a beautiful message, and she does work uniquely. That's unique that no one else does in the whole world to bring peace and love and light to the planet. So anyway, and I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity to come on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted. I hope sometimes I am so aligned with love, universal consciousness, higher awareness. I can't explain my path, but I've gone into the dark nights of the soul and come out and through the other side. And I've worked like you did. You've done your life review. I have taken thousands of people through their life reviews and going into their story and where it went wrong and my husband and I have taken these people and just carried with them as they came around out of that darkness and into the light and made a choice to have a wonderful, peaceful existence. And they made choices and they've done it. I've seen hundreds, but thousands, and it works. It really works. These systems work. My husband's 77. I've been so blessed to work beside him, and I continue to work. And I know that there are bad and evil things out there, but there's so much more love and goodness and consciousness. It's just amazing. We're living in magical, mystical time. I'm so blessed. I know you are too.
Yeah, well, I want to tell you just real quick before I forget, my radio show website is outofthisworld1150.com, and you're all welcome to look at it. It's got like 4 years of shows in there. I try to get the best people I can. But one thing I want to tell you, it's very important. Michiko Hayashi's really changed my life for the better because she's taught me things in a good, positive way about how the planet is going into this beautiful new age. And she really has truly a beautiful message. So it's very simple. Dr. Emoto made a speech before the United Nations, and I'm just saying this because she can't be here right now, but he made this speech before the United Nations in 2005, and he said he wanted to teach all the children of the world love and gratitude so that when they become adults, they would want to create a much better and happier place based upon love, which is the most powerful force in the universe. And so Mitchie's been doing this. She did it for 10 years with him as his assistant. Now is doing it through her office, the Emoto office in Tokyo. And she works so hard to spread this message around the planet. And she's changed my life, too, to look at the planet and the earth in a positive way. I mean, we're all human and we all have our down days, but it's always nice to look on the positive side of things because there are good things coming for the planet.
Yes, thank you. We'll do what we can to get through this and have her hopefully on the show on Tuesday. Is she going to be in Japan or traveling to yet another location?
She'll be in Adelaide, Australia, which, I mean, that's, I think it's 15 hours ahead of Seattle. I mean, frankly, I get all confused with all the different time changes.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, we're going to be broadcasting the Tuesday show from 10 to 12 midnight Eastern time. So
okay.
We'll have to talk to her about that it may not work for her time-wise, because it might be the middle of the night for her. But we'll find
it actually,
time in the show.
Yeah, in Australia, I think that's early afternoon.
That might work for her. Okay, we'll see
that's
what we
fine.
can do.
They'll be awake. Yeah, they'll be awake. But I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity because, you know, there's more good people on this planet than you realize, and we all want to make this planet a beautiful and healthy place. And we're going to do it. And we're turning the planet around with your help, everyone's help here, Michiko's help, the Emoto Project office, and my radio show and your radio show, because there's more light workers on this planet ever before, and more people are waking up. And I know we have a beautiful, bright future, not only for ourselves, but our children and our children's children. And once we turn the corner, and I think we have turned the corner, there's no turning back. The negative forces in the cabal can try things like this tragic incident in London today where the people got burned, or they can do any kind of nefarious things, including 9/11, which is a complete cabal job.
Right.
Or they could, but they're not going to win. It's just not. Their time's up. Sorry, they've had their chance. They blew it, and they're out. They're not going to be allowed back on the planet, and we can look forward to some really beautiful times ahead for all of humanity on this planet.
Yay! Oh, that's a good way to end it. Thank you so much. We'll see you again on Tuesday. Alexandra, would you take it away and bring on our next person? I have to step away for just 5 minutes, but you've got the call.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, my friends.
Thank you. My son blessings and aloha.
Okay,
and,
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ted. We're gonna Ted's gonna be planning a fun voyage to Peru, and so we'll catch up on Tuesday or once we get those dates.
Yeah, I haven't set the dates yet, but probably may not be too early next year. But we'll talk. We can talk about it then. And I sincerely hope that Michiko can come on Tuesday. So.
Okay,
we'll do what we can.
Okay. All right, my friend.
Thank you. Much love and blessings and aloha. So I'm going to turn on the microphone for Tom, and I'll be right back, Alexandra, okay? So take it away.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Aloha.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Aloha.
And you're welcome to stay, Ted, if you want to be part of our panel right at the end of this, at the end of the call. So, Tom is in from, are you in Florida presently, Tom?
Yes, I live in Bradenton, Florida. That's correct.
Yeah, Tom is an amazing researcher, and I was just inviting Ted to stay on because he has a good affinity with supporters of your work, you know, Nikola Tesla and others who support your work. So we just appreciate that you're on, and you're going to share with our audience and those who listen to the replay the spreading of hope for some who may have gotten into a state of despair when they hear news that they're carrying X, Y, or Z. That Tom, through his research, and I'm very grateful that you're coming on, 25 years of working with pathogenic infections, you have perfected a technique that only requires a photograph, and this is going to bring much relief to many children and adults, and also their companion pet and rescue animals. So I'm grateful to have you join us. Last week we were sending extra prayers to Florida, so you could kindly give us an update on what's happening in Florida. And I also wrote on your behalf of those who were in the, had to go to emergency shelters. I did write a letter introducing scalar energy in the hopes that, we can turn the corner and let go of things from the past and just come to the table in the present to bring these technologies forward. So I'd love for you to share your creative strength, .us website and everything that can help our audience really strengthen their immunity and help to fortify, their journey, whatever situation they're in. Tom is providing a free program that only requires sending in a photograph, and you can even make a montage, which I love to, it could be an entire event in a stadium. We can get together and help each other so that when you're out there traveling and going to events, you know that you're protecting your own health and safety and those around you. So I feel it's very appropriate for this show, Create Paradise, and following Ted's support that we have, many forces of love and light helping us, turn the page and begin a new chapter, which is based in prosperity, peace, and health for everybody to have access to medical care and to wellness, as opposed to just surviving, that we can turn the page where, our society will be known throughout the cosmos as a planet where you can come to thrive, to celebrate life and to really grow your potential, your unlimited creativity. So Tom is a big part of the, the healing of humanity and turning the page to restore health all around the world as your true inheritance, which is to be healthy and happy. So we're grateful to have you on the show, and I'm going to let you take it away and, introduce your specialty, your research, and how people can sign up for this amazing program.
Thank you. That's a beautiful introduction. Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Tom Paladino. I am calling in from the beautiful state of Florida, and before we get into this, I want to thank everybody for your prayers. We had a hurricane last week, and your prayers essentially lifted that hurricane. I passed through that storm without any harm, and many of us felt your prayers. We felt your intercession. Indeed, the storm could have been a lot worse. So your prayers, your positive thought served to mitigate the severity of that storm. So thank you. Again, good evening. My name is Tom Paladino. I am a scalar energy researcher. I work with scalar energy, what some people call Tesla energy or zero-point energy. And through a lifetime of effort, I've been able to develop a process using scalar energy instruments that I can easily break apart, destroy germs, pathogens. Tesla energy or scalar energy allows us to control matter, physical matter. And what I've discovered with my scalar energy instruments is that I can break down viruses, bacteria, fungi. I can easily destroy the HIV virus. I can easily destroy the herpes virus. And I've been proving that now for years. As some of you could well imagine, something so simple and straightforward as this is of great benefit to mankind. And ultimately, this will prove to be a grassroots effort in order to get this information, this technology out there. I'm a researcher, as I've mentioned, and I am working essentially with a group of people that will hopefully bring this advanced technology to the world. Now, obviously, I don't attach myself to the government or to big business because those circles of influence really do not have mankind's best intention at hand. So what I'm trying to achieve this evening is to introduce the listening audience to scalar energy per se. And then secondly, if people resonate with scalar energy, Tesla energy, I want to advance that research, and I want to be able to introduce people to one of the aspects of scalar energy, that is the ability of scalar energy to eradicate germs, pathogens from the body. It's a technique that I've perfected, and actually I am going to offer to the listening audience a trial, 15 days of free scalar energy treatments. So again, in synopsis, I am working with scalar energy, Tesla energy. I've developed instruments that allow me to control germs, pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, protozoan, fungi. And within one session, I can calibrate my instrument to identify over 400,000 species of germs, pathogens in the human body, and to break down the molecular structure of those 400,000 species of germs. Now, I do all of this. All scalar energy treatments are conducted remotely at a distance. I simply need a photograph of a person in order to treat a person successfully with scalar energy. Well, to that end, in order to prove to the world that there is merit to this and that this process works, I've developed a website that allows anybody in the world to send in the photograph, and I will treat that person free of charge for 15 days. And within that time frame of 15 days, I'll be able to eradicate the germs in their body. Now, take a pen and a piece of paper. I'm going to give you that website. Again, the website allows anybody in the world to register for 15 days of free scalar energy treatments. And I want to do this, my pleasure, because I want to prove to the world the efficacy and the merit of scalar energy and how scalar energy can improve human health, and actually it can also improve the health of our pets. Now, that website is creativestrength.us. I'll spell that. Creative Strength, just as it sounds. CREATIVE Strength, STRENGTH.us. creativestrength.us. Simply visit the website. There's a presentation, and it's self-explanatory as to what we're doing. Simply take a photograph of some part of your skin. It could be a facial shot, a bust shot, if you will, or if you want to remain anonymous, you can send a photograph of your hand or your foot. Scalar energy recognizes your personhood, so to speak. Scalar energy will recognize you by way of a photograph of your skin. So any photograph of your anatomy will suffice. You will upload that photograph to me. And by way of the scalar energy instruments, I will treat you remotely, no matter where you live in the world. And in so doing, with these remote treatments, I'll be able to target over 400,000 species of viruses and bacteria, parasites, and eradicate those germs from your body. Now, if you could fast forward this and really essentially understand the mechanics behind this and the gargantuan possibilities. Imagine a scalar energy instrument can treat anybody in the world by way of a photograph. So this is inexpensive universal health care. Secondly, the process that I developed is dependable. We can easily break down a pathogen. Well, if you can break down the molecular structure of a pathogen, you're curing pathogenic disease, and that's what we're doing. So this is an inexpensive, dependable, universal health care protocol. All I need is a photograph to treat people anywhere in the world. Presently, we're treating many people in Africa pro bono, simply because they don't have the finances to do so. And I know many of those people are being cured of malaria, of tuberculosis. We even have reports now that we're curing people of HIV infection. So what I'm announcing to the listening audience tonight, by way of these scalar energy treatments, is a dependable, easy, painless method in which we can deliver a scalar energy impulse, a scalar energy signal that serves to break down the molecular structure of pathogens, germs. And in so doing, we can eradicate those pathogens, those germs from the human body. And when you do that, you're essentially curing people of pathogenic disease. All of this, again, is done by way of an emailed photograph. I work with people around the world by way of an email photograph. So again, let me reiterate the website. It is creativestrength.us. Now, if any of you in the listening audience would like to speak to me, I will provide a phone number so that in the next week, call up, leave a voicemail, and I will call you back. My phone number, area code 805-364-3051. Now, what Alexandra and I have been coordinating in the past year is essentially a grassroots movement. It's the people. It's people power. And a grassroots movement will bring forward this technology, scalar energy or Tesla energy technology. And it is the people, a grassroots effort, that will introduce this new way of living. Scalar energy offers so many possibilities. It's a technology that will serve to change the world. But it starts with us. So if this plan, if this idea, this goal resonates with any of you in the listening audience, call me. Again, my number, area code 805-364-3051. To reiterate, my scalar energy instruments work by way of a photograph. I can treat anybody in the world by way of a photograph. Some days I am treating 100 or 200,000 people a day by way of a scalar energy instrument. Well, I believe my instruments can easily treat 5 to 10 million people a day. I handily treat at least 100,000, 200,000 people a day presently. So imagine what this means. With a group effort, with a groundswell of support, again, it will be a grassroots effort. I don't expect or anticipate help from the government or big business or academia. With a groundswell of support from people, the day is coming that we will treat millions of people around the world and cure them of pathogenic disease by way of scalar energy. So if this goal, if this objective serves to interest you, pique your curiosity, contact me and let's work together. Again, Alexandra and I have been working for the past year rather assiduously to bring this to the attention of the public. This radio broadcast tonight is one of those points of dissemination, and I thank you once again, Alexandra, for the opportunity. We have discovered the cure for pathogenic disease. Now the people of the world must work together in a coordinated fashion to bring forward that cure for pathogenic disease. So again, the website, please share this website far and wide. It's an open website. It's an open invitation. Anybody can submit a photograph. And once you do, then tell your friends and family members to submit a photograph. The website, creativestrength.us. Simply upload a photograph of any part of your skin, your anatomy. I will treat you for free, no questions asked, for 15 days. And during that course of 15 days, we will eradicate viruses and parasites from your body, etc. You will be germ-free. And I also recognize that scalar energy has a powerful influence over our 7 chakras, over our meridians. So during that course of 15 days of free scalar energy treatments, we will also have a profound influence upon your 7 chakras that will have an immediate influence upon your consciousness, upon your thinking, upon your emotions. So let's review. I am working with scalar energy instruments. I live in the state of Florida. My name is Tom Paladino. I've devoted a lifetime to scalar energy research, in many ways following in the footsteps of Nikola Tesla, the great inventor. I have developed and perfected a scalar energy process whereby I can easily break down the molecular structure of germs, pathogens, and I want to prove the efficacy of these treatments to the world. So in order to prove the merit of scalar energy to eradicate pathogenic disease, I'm offering 15 days of free scalar energy treatments. Anybody in the world can register for these 15 days of treatments. Please do so. The website, creativestrength.us. And with that, if we can, I would be happy to answer any questions that the listening audience might have. And from this point forward, I'll turn it back over to you, Alexandra.
Hi, it's Janet. I do have some comments and questions. Can you hear me?
Sure. I can very well.
I was in Vegas, and that's when I met Bill Tompkins at the MUFON conference, and I got to spend some time, and it was not planned at all. I met a lady who had scalar technology, and she had been fighting cancer. It looked like she was, pretty far along, and she took me over to this lady's house because I had been suffering from polyps, and she said, well, come over and sit on the bed. So you walk into this lady's house, and in the center on a beautiful coffee table in the middle of a gorgeous living room are 4 screens, and they're scrolling. And it almost looks like the Matrix, all these different patterns and things, and they're different colors, and it's very beautiful. And I was going, wow, what's that? Well, that's part of the scalar technology. And then we go to this room off of the kitchen, and they have a bed in there. And in that room, there are 4 sets of 4 screens that are, on top of each other in all corners of the room. And you sit in the bed, and the scalar technology just keeps generating, and it's generating in her house nonstop. She said, well, I know we're on to something, and it's based on Tesla's scalar technology. She said, because when I set it up, I got a knock on the door, and it was somebody from the government, the U.S. government, military, and they said that we got a signature from our satellite, and it's like you've set up a nuclear sub, like you have a nuclear sub in Vegas. So we had to come and see, what are you doing? And so she showed him the equipment, and, that was that. So they didn't do anything. They didn't shut her down. Oh, but I just thought that was fascinating. But I got to spend time, and then a month later, a month and a half later, and we're on the show talking about this. Now, I don't claim to know how it works. Yours appears to be a different type of technology with some kind of rod, almost like a lightsaber. The pictures are on Aquarian Radio. Listeners, be sure to go over there and check out Tom's pictures and his information on aquarianradio.com on the show page for today. But are you familiar with their technology? How did you invent this? Do you work with other people? Is this something people are converging on? Reading the Tesla technology, figuring out how it works? Tell me a little bit more, please. Thank you.
Sure. My career in scalar energy really took a boost when I met the widow of one of the masters. There's a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus. I never met him, but I met his wife, Sarah Hieronymus. And Sarah Hieronymus essentially opened up the notes to me from this great scalar energy researcher, her husband, Galen Hieronymus. So I had a running start with this technology, so to speak. And with that said, It's just been a great deal of hard work and pursuing this career, this mindset to bring scalar energy to the world. I work with people around the world trying to promote scalar energy. These instruments are custom built. It's a tour de force, if you will, as far as engineering is concerned. Since the instruments are custom built, it takes a great deal of time and a great deal of understanding of how to assemble, how to engineer these instruments. All of that work really is a testimony to really two scientists that I've really leaned upon, and that would be Nikola Tesla and Galen Hieronymus. Ultimately, I give the glory and the honor to God, who's given me the wisdom and the courage to pursue this scientific endeavor. But I will not in any way equivocate. What I have discovered is the cure for pathogenic disease. We can cure herpes. We can cure Lyme disease. We can cure HIV/AIDS. Someday the world will embrace this. Someday the world will understand that scalar energy is that energy that offers to mankind a great promise. It's a new start, so to speak, with scalar energy. So those of you who are in the listening audience, please, if this resonates with you, join us. Become a part of this movement.
Now, what my understanding is that the government really frowns upon cures, and they have come in and shut people down, taken their inventions, cease and desist. They've even jailed people. They probably have even killed people. And whoever these people are, the reptilians or the powers that be, the Illuminati, whatever, they just don't want to see us get these cures. Have you encountered any such resistance on men in black or people that come in and say, cease and desist, you can no longer do that?
No, I've not had any resistance, and I attribute that to the fact that God is with me, that I'm being protected. I've not had any resistance whatsoever.
Wonderful. Okay, Alexandra.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing. How would you like to proceed? We have another 15 minutes. You said you want to do you have questions for Tom? Do you want to open up to other people? Melodina's on hold. What would you like to do next?
Sure. Well, Tom, this is something that Ted mentioned when I'm not sure if you were tuning in when he was giving us the message from JFK, who is still, sending his love to all of us. And what he said is that, we're working from the ground up, and YouTube and Facebook in many ways are of the people, for the people. So we have turned a corner as far as we were also talking about protection around the light worker community. And it's important to support each other. So for anybody who has Facebook, visit Tom's website, creativestrength.us. You can make a montage of events that you go to. Start with yourself. For Janet, I'd love to see you also benefit from Tom's expertise. Then you could come back on and give a testimonial. I'd love to ask you, Tom, if you would share what is the difference between scalar energy and electromagnetic energies? Because if you just explain that.
Sure, that's a great question. It's very simple. All energy in the universe initiates as scalar energy. The stars, our sun, all energy initiates. The original energy of the universe is scalar energy. And when scalar energy will degrade or convert, it converts into electromagnetic energy. So if you will, electricity and magnetism are a derivative of scalar energy. Well, I prefer to use the source energy, the primal energy of the universe, which is really the self-expression of God, which is scalar energy, not the corrupted version of energy, which is electromagnetic energy. So the ancients knew this. You know, people will call scalar energy mana, chi, source energy, life force energy. There's a different energy than that of electricity and magnetism. Electricity and magnetism are the inferior spectrum. The superior spectrum, the superior dimension is scalar energy. It's that simple.
That's nice, because Janet and I were talking about our you meditate, you get downloads sometimes, and it's like flipping a switch, where you can reconnect the divine blueprint, the original DNA free. We don't have junk DNA. We have RNA, or the spiritual essence of the true man, true woman, as a spiritual being with unlimited potential. And when you can pull in that higher aspect of yourself, your God self or your light body into your physical body, pretty much you can do exactly what Tom is doing, which is heal from the inside out and spark those cells that have been traumatized from either, a physical trauma, a mental, emotional, whatever the trauma, but it ends up manifesting in some sort of physical dis-ease. So Tom is there. I like to introduce you as Superman to help repair those the cellular damage, and it works. It's scientifically proven that it works. So I'm also grateful to introduce you to others on our panel. We're basically in the organic state of co-creating ascension centers through online, through our ability to connect with millions, billions of people who can listen to these shows anywhere in the world, pick up their phone or join by Skype or YouTube, these any modality through the internet. But we're all connected through prayer, through love, and through the internet. So, I just encourage folks, if you have any questions and you're listening to the replay, go to Tom's website or give him a call. So if you'd like to share again how our listeners can get in touch with you, and again, would you share how many people you could work with, and we could start a goal to start sending in photos and reaching that goal for you. We could set a goal, counting up to New Year's. Let's start sending in pictures to Tom, and also for the companion pets, anyone who had to go through Irma or through the Houston, Texas, or Ted mentioned a situation in London. Let's get the word out and help support each other to strengthen. Once you get your immunity strong, and Ted does. If you could share this, Tom, because Ted was concerned about the last vestiges of the opposite powers, and so we're just not going to. We're here to be the hand to help, give a lending hand to lift people up. But would you let us know again how many people you're presently working with and how people can get on board to sign up for the program?
Sure. Let me put this into motion. All I need is a photograph of a person to treat a person with scalar energy. And we have a computerized system now that miniaturizes photographs. Oh. So I could easily, in any given day, I could easily receive 250,000, 500,000 photographs. They're miniaturized. It's all computerized. And that way I don't have to manually upload 100,000 photographs a day. So visit the website, that's computerized, creativestrength.us. And please share that website with friends and family. Anybody can submit a photograph to that website. I immediately start treating people as soon as I receive the photographs that day. And with that, we can eradicate germs from their body, we can balance the 7 chakras, and we can deliver nutrients by way of scalar energy. We actually also have a nutrient program that scalar energy will allow us to create, to assemble nutrients inside the human body. Now, put all of that together. This is universal health care by way of a photograph. No matter where you live in the world, we can cure you of malaria. No matter where you live in the world, if you have the hepatitis virus, we can destroy the hepatitis virus in your body. We have the cure for hepatitis. Furthermore, my scalar energy instruments can easily treat 5 million people a day. So imagine that. In one day, we could treat and cure everybody in San Diego. In one day, we could treat and cure everybody in Miami, Florida, all by way of a photograph. This is the promise of scalar energy. Now, we have a outreach. We have social activists, Christian missionaries, etc., in Africa that are sending photographs to us on a weekly basis. And thus far, we've already treated 3 to 4 million people in Africa. And we have tests, we have diagnostic tests that prove that those people who once had HIV no longer are infected. We've treated people around the world, and various DNA tests, what some people call a polymerase chain reaction test, a diagnostic test proves that there's no viral load anymore, whether that's for the herpes virus or the HIV virus or the hepatitis virus. So to prove that scalar energy is indeed effective in eradicating germs, we have people throughout the world who are contacting us. After we treat them with scalar energy, they are presenting to us evidence by way of tests, diagnostic tests, that they have been cured. Now, digest all of that. We have discovered the cure for pathogenic disease. We can easily treat 5 million people a day by way of their photograph, and those people will be cured of pathogenic disease. So once again, if this resonates with you, call me. Let's discuss this. Let's cure the world. My phone number, area code 805-364-3051. Once again, the website, creativestrength.us. Anybody in the world can sign up for free scalar energy treatments. We will treat you, no questions asked, no obligation, for 15 days. And during those 15 days, we'll balance your chakras, and we will target and eradicate potentially now over 400,000 species of pathogens in your body. This is the easy way, the dependable way, to cure the world of pathogenic disease. So with that said, I hope that all of you take this to heart. Please join us in this mission.
I was in Costa Rica, and I was introducing Tom to some of the wellness centers in Costa Rica. There were families that they had to carry the child on their back because they couldn't afford a wheelchair for their own children. And I've experienced chronic pain, and I have found, going out into nature, leaning up against a tree, is actually one of the top things I have found that works because, I've used all the different supplements and things like that. And so the scalar energy Tom speaks of, it radiates throughout the trees, it radiates throughout Mother Nature, it radiates from the sun, it radiates from your own cells. And, that's why I always start the show and I ask the audience to touch your heart and say you receive pure love. I really appreciate Janet. We were talking about reptilians. There are hybrid children out there. and they want to, everybody, it's one thing we all have in common, actually. Nobody wants to be attacked. Nobody. It's innate. It's innate in a fish who struggles on a hook. It's innate in elephants. It's innate in people, no matter how big or small you are. So this scalar energy is, I feel it's a gift of love from above, brought to the world at this time. And I sure hope that many families will benefit, and kids and adults, and, that we really can turn this page and embrace one another. It doesn't matter what the outer appearance. If you are willing to look past the cover and just take a minute, and realize, wow, I'm on one of the most incredible planets in the universe with so much diversity. There's like 600 types of species of strawberries. and we are a unique planet of a ton of diversity. And so, but one thing that is always present is love, pure love. If you're willing to receive it, take one step, and the higher power will take 10,000 to meet you, embrace you, and enfold you in that love. So I'm grateful, Tom, that the situation diminished in Florida, and you guys have power, and that this can empower. We send that to those who may be in despair because they've received some sort of diagnosis, that this will find them one way or another, and they can come to the table and get a clean slate. That's the love of the divine. There's no judgment. We come here, we do our best, and maybe you make some wrong turns, and you get lost or you get hurt. Well, the divine power loves you immeasurably, and doesn't want to see you hurt. So that's where this program, if you've got something, know in your heart that you deserve health, you deserve happiness, you can turn your own page and say, I'm going to turn the page and I choose health and happiness. So, Tom, that's one of the things that scalar energy brings to the table, is a fresh start for your cells. You get a nutrient chakra balance, and I think it's awesome. And so we also we had Dr. Vishan Ali come on, and also Mark Solar. So for those who are wanting to turn a page, get back your health and your happiness, I hope that you'll listen to our previous shows as well. Enjoy these complimentary resources, because everybody on our shows is there in your corner, to as a support team. So I just want to thank Tom and Janet, Ted today, and the Emoto Foundation. Step by step, we're building a whole new Earth. So thanks, everybody, and
thank you. And we're out of time, so thank you, Tom, for joining us. Thank you, Melodina, for being in our audience. Thank you, all your listeners today. Thank you, Alexandra, for all your wisdom and your hard work in putting this show up. And I want to say, everybody, love and blessings and aloha. And we will see you again tomorrow on the Cosmos Connection on Revolution Radio. Aloha, love and blessings.